Hello, and thank you for joining me here on the News Summary. I am Liza Chataeva. Stay with me and learn about the major news from the heart of Eurasia. The third Congress of the Nur Otan Party's Zhas Otan Youth Wing gathered together nearly 2,000 young people in Astana. The Zhas Otan activists, young leaders, the entrepreneurs and scientists traveled to the Kazakh capital from every corner of our big country. President Nazarbayev attended the event to personally meet with the most promising and avant-garde youth representatives.
The president spent a little over an hour on the discussion about how the world actually works, while thousands of young people listened attentively to his speech. One doesn't get the first-hand answers to the most pressing issues of the present and the future of Kazakhstan every day. He talked about important things in a simple way and clearly explained complex things. Nursultan Nazarbayev spoke not only about the global matters, but also very clearly explained why Kazakhstanis do not live like in Europe or the United Arab Emirates yet. Occasionally, some people ask why we do not yet live like in Western Europe or the United Arab Emirates, or say in America. But not everything is so obvious. There are specific and simple factors that fundamentally affect our country. First of all, it is the climate, long distances, lack of access to the sea. It is our historical and cultural heritage. In fact, all these years, we are moving forward in spite of many objective reasons. I would like to talk to you about this today. Kazakhstan will celebrate the 25th anniversary of independence in peace and harmony despite all the forecasts and predictions of experts and prophets. The president noted that Kazakhstan has managed to turn its ostensible disadvantages into advantages. After all, the reason for energy-intensive economy is simple. Kazakhstan has energy-expending nature, Nursultan Nazarbayev stressed. Canadians from the southern regions who go to work to the sparsely populated north regions are called heroes. Should this comparison be applied to us, we have 17 million heroes living in Kazakhstan. This is our homeland, the Republic of Kazakhstan, with a good spring that has just come, hot summer, beautiful fall, fantastic white winter that we all love. And there is no other paradise on earth like Kazakhstan. The statistics confirms the words of the president about the climate. Almost all countries in the top 30 list, which Kazakhstan is eager to be enlisted into, are located in the warm latitudes. These countries save on energy 3 times more than Kazakhstan, and that is one of countries' disadvantages. People's desire to live in their own way, search of Kazakhstan's way, and foreseeing difficulties is a huge plus. Not everyone can take timely preventive measures. We know it, examined and prepared for such crises. We launched an early Joly program and 5 people's reforms of which I spoke at the Congress of the Nur Otan Party. We have one goal, Strategy 2050. We are united by the national idea, Manglik Yel. Therefore, no one in the world, no country, no foreign top manager can teach us how to live, what kind of political system to build, and how to create a successful market economy. We are creating our own democratic model and our own market relations, and at the same time, we want to keep pace with the entire world.
Мы сами создаем свою политическую модель, свои рыночные отношения и хотим при этом шагать в ногу со всем мировым человечеством.
All 17 million of heroes now have to work persistently and efficiently. The economy of countries which are not ready to compete will be destroyed in a few years, the president said. Kazakhstan should not bet only on its population, but also on the quality of the human capital. Otherwise, the story has only 2 outcomes, Nursultan Nazarbayev noted, either a win or a loss. Therefore, Kazakhstan adheres to policies aimed at the young people.
Открыты все дороги для науки.
All roads for science are open. Without innovation, without science, we cannot be in the top 30 developed countries in the world. For young people who are particularly interested in science, it is necessary to know how to make innovations conceived here in Kazakhstan. Nobody would easily hand over the best technology or top science. No one wants to create a competitor. That's why I'm doing everything I can to have the best universities, best science, best laboratories, best minds who choose to work in Kazakhstan and could create all that is necessary for further development.
Лучшая наука, лучшие лаборатории, лучшие умы приходили и работали в Казахстане.
Meanwhile, the news feed barely kept up with the released information. The president's speech was full of wise quotations. These were alternated with the global messages. For instance, whatever your job is, try to be the best at it. This fatherly advice was addressed to all the young people. For younger people, it is easier to adapt to new circumstances and find new answers to seemingly old questions.
Есть такая шутка. Один маститый профессор-экономист
There is a joke about that. The venerable economics professor kept asking his students the same questions on the exams every year. One of his young students once asked, "Professor, do you not see that from year to year you keep asking the same question that we all know?" The professor said, "Do not forget that we are dealing with economy, and the economy always has the same questions, but the answers are different every year. It is the same concept in reality. The questions are always the same, but the answers are different every year because the world is changing rapidly."
А ответы каждый год разные, потому что быстро меняется мир.
The acceptance of the appeal for young people of Kazakhstan became the final note of the forum. According to the participants, it should become an incentive to act for millions of Kazakhstanis.
Я сам закончил Московский университет и вернулся.
I myself graduated from the University of Moscow and returned to my country, returned to the city where I grew up. And so, for me, servicing the state in which I live now is very important. I have no preferences, whether it's a public service, whether it's a commercial activity. I'm ready to go ahead and I'm ready to move forward together with my country.
Я готов идти вперед, я готов двигаться вместе со своей страной.
Сегодняшнее мероприятие было.
Today's event was very friendly. We heard so many words of edification from the president, words to start acting and to motivate us. We were inspired again and we are now ready to achieve new heights and new successes in our activities. Tomorrow, Mikhail will return to his hometown, Temirtau. He says that the most appealing to him quote from the president's speech was, "Only those who always win become champions." And he had no doubt in the fact that our country will enter the top 30 developed countries of such champions.
Friendship and partnership between Kazakhstan and Russia go back deep into history. The recently launched Eurasian Economic Union has promoted this relationship to a higher level. Cooperation of the Kazakh entrepreneurs with their colleagues from Tyumen region is one of the many examples. Last year alone, the trade turnover between Russia's Tyumen Oblast and northern Kazakhstan totaled $105 million.
The Tyumen Oblast is one of the largest regions in Russia. Its territory includes the autonomous regions such as the Yamalo-Nenets and Khanty-Mansi. They are renowned for the wealth of natural resources and, first of all, the black gold. That is why the region is called the oil capital of Russia. Here, the latest technologies are actively introduced as the agriculture and business keep developing. According to the regional governor, Vladimir Yakushev, the Eurasian Economic Union opened new opportunities for the region. Every year, the cooperation between Kazakhstan and Russian businessmen is expanding. For example, the Tyumen steel bridge plant is now preparing to ship the necessary equipment to Astana's train station. The whole order is huge. We are always ready to cooperate closely with the counterparts from Kazakhstan. The Tyumen region is also rich with extensive and dense forests, hence the woodworking is well developed in this region. Entrepreneurs from Kazakhstan annually buy 1,000 cubic meters of pine from here. The new cross-border conditions have tightened the cooperation. Last year alone, the trade turnover between Kazakhstan and Tyumen region totaled $105 million. This had a positive impact on the social sphere and cooperation in such areas as education, health, and tourism.
Интеллектуальный потенциал наших казахских коллег.
The intellectual potential of our partners in Kazakhstan is very high. Now we are planning to introduce new technology on developing minerals. I hope that in the future our cooperation will have a positive impact on the economy of both countries.
Активно развиваться в течение этого года.
The Tyumen region borders only with the northern Kazakhstan while maintaining close relations with the western region as well, where oil and gas are produced. The Russians intend to further develop cooperation in various sectors of the economy.
The Special Economic Zone will help boost the industrial growth and stimulate the business activities in Pavlodar region. 3 brand new industrial facilities will soon be put into operation, creating 900 new jobs. As the weather has gotten warmer, the construction and assembly works have resumed. Our next story will give you the details on the construction progress.
The facility for the petroleum coke calcining, which is one of the most important objects of the Special Economic Zone Pavlodar, has achieved the first big result. Builders have already mounted one furnace and completed the installation of the other one. The metallurgists are eagerly waiting for the start of production. The calcined coke is used in the production of aluminum. If Kazakh manufacturers of aluminum used to buy anode blocks in China or in other countries, now the aluminum production will be fully localized.
Теперь производство алюминия будет полностью локализовано.
The pace of work at the site has increased recently. 300 builders, masons and fitters, and dozens of pieces of machinery are involved in the process. A variety of biological products for veterinary and plant protection products will be produced on a local factory, AgroChem Progress, which is nearing its completion. In the meantime, the entire line of products is imported to the country from abroad. At the moment, we conduct commissioning, operations, setup, adjustment of all parameters and processes. We have the most modern equipment, and by mid-year, we plan to start the production of dry and liquid forms. We have done some research and market analysis. According to the forecasts, the production capacity we can afford now meets Kazakhstan market's demand. The SEZ Pavlodar is the biggest project in the Irtysh region. 6 projects are currently being implemented. 3 of them will be put into operation this year, while the other 3 are already active. All of them have passed a tough examination on the environmental safety. The production currently produced in this zone is in demand. The volumes can't be exported as they are totally consumed within the country. The total cost of 6 projects with the creation of over 1,000 jobs is almost 40 billion tenge.
240 kilowatt power lines are being stretched to the Bozshakol mine. Construction and installation works are still underway at Kazakhstan's largest underdeveloped copper deposit as the systems and components are being set up. After launch, the copper plant will produce up to 100,000 tons of copper per year.
The Bozshakol project is the largest in the state program of industrialization, and the field itself is one of the biggest undeveloped copper deposits in the world, with the estimate production output nearly 100,000 tons per year. Construction and installation works are underway.
Right behind me you can see the 2 large ball mills. They're the largest ball mills in the world, currently installed anywhere. And to my left is a SAG mill. So these are the 3 key components of the concentrator.
The Bozshakol project will employ about 1,500 people after its launch. Miners of Bozshakol are looking forward to the opening of the new mine. I work with such a huge machine for the first time ever. Everything is interesting for me, from the drilling equipment to minor devices and the huge gear that you see behind me.
The access road, the railroad, they have all been completed and approved by the government authorities.
The ore reserves at Bozshakol are estimated at 1,017,000,000 tons. According to experts, this should be sufficient for the smooth production of copper for 40 years.
The Chamber of Entrepreneurs in Astana City Administration have presented a joint regional development map at the annual conference of small and medium-sized businesses held in Astana. According to the map, a zoo, Russian and Kazakh drama theater, and a new solid waste recycling plant are projected for construction. The total project cost of the zoo will total more than 24 billion tenge. The new zoo will be located on the left bank of the river Isil and will occupy 123 acres of land. A new sewage treatment plant will be built on the site of the current landfill.
We have proposed to analyze the business development map of Astana in order to identify what business can be launched in different areas of the city. For this, we need to conduct different studies and opinion polls. Theaters, projects in the healthcare area, entertainment facilities are those investment projects that are to be implemented in Astana. Moreover, other projects have been proposed within public-private partnership. These are construction of parking and 2 bus stations.
В рамках государственно-частного партнерства были предложены проекты. Это строительство паркингов города Астаны и 2 автовокзалов.
Procurement for construction and operation of Almaty Big Ring Road is underway. The Kazakh Ministry of Investments and Development has already received the bids from the potential concessionaires. The open bid kicked off on January 14th. Dozens of major international firms expressed interest in taking over the project. The winning bid will be announced by the end of the 2nd phase of procurement. Almaty Big Ring Road will become a key part of the transit corridor, Western Europe and Western China. The road will allow reducing the traffic flows and eliminating the traffic jams on the main roads of Almaty.
Проектом предусматривается строительство и эксплуатация автодороги протяженностью 66 километров.
The project provides for the construction and operation of the road with the length of 66 kilometers on the basis of a concession agreement with a term of 20 years, including construction 4.5 years, maintenance 15.5 years. The total cost of the project is 124 billion tenge. It will be a 6-lane toll road with cement concrete road surface and top speed of 150 kilometers per hour.
Счетной скоростью до 150 км в час.
Karaganda saved some 66 million tenge on electric power over the past year after introducing smart solutions such as the new LED street lighting. Reliable and energy-efficient LED lighting equipment manufactured in the local shop is already available in Usk-Kamenogorsk, Pavlodar, and Astana.
The LED lighting is a single-piece product. A small part of the production process is implemented with automation. The rest is assembled manually by hand. A team of 20 people produces about 5,000 lamps per year. The company's products are used for the street lighting, and the lights have already been used by domestic industrialists, while the apartment building maintenance staff has been using the vandal-resistant luminaires for entrances. In the market, we have one of the best lighting in the CIS according to the specifications. The service life is also high. LED service 100,000 hours, which is about 12 years of continuous illumination. We provide a 40-year warranty for the lights. Production technology was developed by the plant's management together with the engineers. Today, each of the lamps contains about 60% of local content. The main element, of course, the light-emitting diodes, are delivered from America and Japan. The energy-saving program is operating in the state currently, and today LED lighting is the most saving, most efficient, and our products are in demand because it has a very high performance, high enough efficiency at about 123 to 125 lumen per watt.
Техническими характеристиками достаточно высокая эффективность. У нас сегодня эффективность светильника порядка 123-125 люмен на ватт.
Compared to the conventional incandescent lamps, LEDs consume 12 times less energy, and if the most economical form of lighting is not yet popular in the household, the communal services have already noted its pros. For example, LED lamps are installed along the roads on some streets in Karaganda.
Это дает большую экономию электроэнергии.
This provides considerable energy savings. Thus, 3,300 LED lamps were installed and 66 million tenge was saved on electricity last year.
Получается, у нас 66 миллионов тенге. Это за прошлый год.
This summer, the company plans to start production of spotlights, and by the end of the year, promises to begin domestic production of LED bulbs that will definitely be sold on store shelves.
A safari and children's entertainment park, mini racetrack, and a forest nursery. Pavlodar region has started developing a resort area on the shore of the Lake Kambash. Construction of the main modern tourist area will begin this summer. The works will take place in several stages. The first facility has already been put into operation. The Center for Children's Rehabilitation, Altanaral, has already welcomed its first guests.
A modern tourist zone will appear on the shores of Lake Kambash. It is located on the route of the international highway Western Europe, Western China. Presently, the pearl of the Aral Sea region attracts tourists and athletes from different parts of the country. An annual sailing regatta here has already become a tradition. Our Kambash today is compared with the Lake Balaton in Geneva, as the vacation here is compared with the Sharm el-Sheikh. Almost fresh water has unique healing properties and attracts tourists. The construction of a modern recreation area on the coastal territory has created comfortable conditions for visitors. The first facility rehabilitation center for children has already been put into operation. It will operate all year round. More than 600 children will spend their vacations here in the summer. The district's best teachers help us prepare for the upcoming finals. Nothing sidetracks us here. We only study. All conditions are provided for studying and resting. The total tourist area is 450 hectares. Following the administrative, residential, and sports facilities, entertainment projects will be implemented. After the completion of hotels and resorts, we will begin to build a mini racetrack, safari park, forest nursery, and children's entertainment park. Up to 30,000 guests visit Kambash during the summer season. The number of tourists is expected to increase significantly after the opening of a modern recreational area.
An unusual campaign marking the 70th anniversary of victory in the Second World War was held at Ely Army Training Ground in Almaty region. More than 70 years later, the war veterans took up the firearms of the Second World War. However, this time, they did it only to remember the heroic deeds of their young years.
Well-disposed columns of soldiers of airmobile troops are marching solemnly. Thus, at all times, the winners were highly honored. The veterans are still unaware of the surprise that has been prepared for them by the paratroopers.
Наша задача им сделать.
Our goal is to do something nice for them, so that they would remember their youth by holding trophy weapons.
Поддержав тоже трофейное оружие.
The whole exhibition is organized under an open sky next to the shooting range. The legendary Maxim and Dektor of machine guns, Shpagin submachine gun, trophy Schmeisser, and three-line rifle made these gray-haired heroes to return to those desperate years. 70 years later, the hands still know what to do with the weapons. Taking turns, the veterans hit their targets from the first pre-revolutionary revolver, and then a fire from the Kalashnikov. Feeling the huge difference, one of the veterans regretfully noted that having Kalashnikovs during the World War II would have saved so many lives. Soldiers mainly had automatic weapons, and they basically fired in line. And at that time, we didn't have such guns, only three-line rifle and the one for 3 soldiers. All these weapons were used during the war. Most of them were destroyed long ago. One part, as props, will be used during the anniversary parade in Astana.
On May 9, many countries will mark the 70th anniversary of victory in the Second World War. Kurishbek Kozhakbayev is one of the soldiers who fiercely fought against Nazi invaders. He lives in the Sumbe village in Almaty region. The war veteran will turn 104 in May.
It seems this man doesn't age. He's always active outdoors. The teacher who trained a whole dynasty of teachers, Kumarbek Ata, believes that his place is with his children. In return, the students from the neighboring village put a play about their hero. When he was 30 as a head of school, he was drafted into the 100th Rifle Division. Kurishbek has led a reconnaissance troop and fought alongside Manshuk Mametova. One of the most touching scenes of the play was Kurishbek's conversation with Manshuk before her last battle, when they both made plans for a long and happy life together. On that day, in autumn of 1943, Manshuk took cover with a machine gun and did not let the fascists cross the line. She saved many of us, but died herself. I personally buried her with my comrades. It was in the city of Nivel, in the Pskov region. She was the only female. She was an example to us all. Kurishbek does not like to recall the horrors of the war, but with pleasure tells the stories of how he met with writer Aziljan Nushaikhov on the front line, how he worked with Oraz Zhendosov in the pre-war period, and how he helped to build villages in his region. He has 4 daughters, 1 son, 26 grandchildren, and over 20 great-grandchildren. And many generations of former and current school children in the district enjoy retelling the stories about the World War II. Kazakhstan is thriving from year to year, and I wish all children would never know what war is. I wish them peace. May 9 is a holy day for Kurishbek Kozhakbayev, and now the 104-year-old veteran is getting ready to travel to Moscow to celebrate the anniversary of the victory in the parade.
A new monument has been opened in Pavlodar region to commemorate our countryman and a war hero, Pavel Dubovoy. His bronze bust has also been erected in the Russian town of Novorzhev in Pskov region. Pavel Dubovoy was killed during the strategic battle at Borodino Heights in March 1944. He was posthumously given the title of the Hero of the Soviet Union. A street in Novorzhev town was named after him. His fellow villager Maksud Jumanov has visited the site of the hero's death. Maksud collected information about Pavel Dubovoy's heroic deeds and wrote a play about him in 1989. Ahead of the forthcoming Victory Day, Maksud is going to visit the legendary place again. And before embarking on his long journey, he has decided to tell about the life and heroism of Pavel Dubovoy to rural school children.
Pavel Dubovoy has repeated the feat of the 28 Panfil of heroes. He blew himself up with a grenade surrounded by Nazis. This is our countryman. We are proud of him. We have a corner in our school dedicated to him with his photographs and awards. This year, our guys will go to the Pskov region to tidy up the graves of our heroes. A bust of Pavel Dubovoy is being erected now. A Kazakhstani from Uralsk, Makarim Kubeganov, was buried next to him. He was killed alongside with Pavel Dubovoy. Graves of Alia Moldagulova and the hero of Estonia, Jan Reinberg, are located not far from there. Their graves will also be fenced.
So it happens that many heroic acts are committed in peacetime. Tekeli police officer has rescued a 7-year-old boy from drowning in the river. On the day of the accident, Sanat Sultanov noticed the boy who accidentally fell into the water as he was playing on the river with other children. He plunged into the cold mountain river and rescued the boy. The kid is now in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
The incident happened on the river Chaja at the top part of Tekeli. The 7-year-old Darin Kozhakhmet was playing with his friends on the beach and then he slipped and fell into the water. He ended up by a water intake, lifeless with his lungs full of water taken by river's current. An employee of the shore pumping station, Vladimir Melnikov, said that the child at first was mistaken for someone's jacket, but when they realized it was a boy, his comrade who guarded the object, a policeman Sanat Sultanov, without hesitation jumped into the water. He risked his and the boys' lives as they could be tightened to the floodgates. Then Vladimir hastened to aid them. The station employee believes that Sanat is a real hero for what he has done. He was sick. Well, he had a cough. He was going to finish his shift and was going to go to a hospital the next day, but there was no time to think. Everything happened so fast. It was the worst thing when we saw that a child's skin turned black with no signs of life. He pumped out air from the boy's lungs. If not him, he said he pushed his chest, and child's chest is so soft. He was scared to push too hard. Darin is now in a hospital. He has hypothermia and shock. His savior, Sanat Sultanov, came to see the boy despite the fever and feeling unwell, as cold water has deteriorated his sickness. The police officer admits that he's grateful to his destiny for his profession because without his first aid skills, he wouldn't have saved the boy. His tongue was in his throat. I pushed the tongue out with my finger and began to do CPR. I did it 3 or 4 times and he breathed the air in. Then I calmed down. Everyone, for example, I think would have jumped into the water to save the child. It could have been my son. Thank you so much to Sanat for saving my son. Not all people would risk their lives for the sake of someone else's, but fortunately such man as Sanat was there when this happened, and I thank God for him. Sanat is our guardian angel. Sanat Sultanov will retire in a couple of months. He has 2 children, and now he has Darin, his 3rd son, who, despite his young age, understands that he was given a second life.
Chinese horse breeding farm has brought 40 Akalteke horses from Kazakhstan. The horses have already been transported to China from Kyrgyz. This will help revive horse breeding in China and will significantly increase the population of the legendary Akalteke horses. The number of purebred Akalteke horses amounts to more than 3,000, of which 400 are bred in China.
All horses that were brought earlier have adapted well. We have 2 bases in Urumqi and Beijing. We will transport these horses after quarantine to these cities. All of them are purely bred and especially carefully select mares.
Passion always runs high in the Han's harem. Astana Opera staged the famous ballet The Fountain of Bakhchisarai last weekend. The Russian ballet, inspired by the poem of Alexander Pushkin, with music by Boris Asafyev and choreography by Rostislav Zakharov, premiered in St. Petersburg over 80 years ago. Astana Opera Troupe has dazzled the ballet lovers and its permanent fans with an outstanding production of the ballet. Italian masters Ezio Frigerio and Franca Scorciapina were invited to work on the stage design. Legendary Kazakh choreographers Tursunbek Nurkaliyev and Galya Buribaeva presented their production of the ballet. After a long break, Tursunbek Nurkaliyev went back on stage to play Gireyhan. Aygirin Beketava played the leading part of Zarema.
I will portray her the way I was told about her, but in addition, I certainly watched a lot of videos, a lot of artists. I think I will perform fine. Of course, I think it's still a lot of work because it is very complicated. I didn't even dream about the role of Zarema. I never imagined that I will perform this role. Of course, I'm very happy. It is physically very difficult to portray the role of Zarema. There are big jumps. At the same time, it is necessary to convey the image. Huge work has been done.
These were the main news from Kazakhstan. I will see you here at this hour in 2 weeks. Goodbye.